Okay, now in Module 3.5, we're going to talk about a rule called the power rule. So let's talk about vocabulary. What does the word power mean? Yes, the word power means you have an exponent. So if you look at my first expression, it is read 3 squared cubed. What you'll notice is how many exponents are in that expression. You're right, there's 2. There's an exponent that's a 2, and there's an exponent that's a 3. So let's talk about, again, what this means, this expression. So let's work it out the long way on paper. So if we're following order of operations, we would always do what's inside the parentheses first. So we know 3 squared means 3 times 3, right? But now we also have an exponent of 3 on the outside. So what that 3 on the outside means, whatever's inside the parentheses, we got to write 3 times. So does everybody agree? We would write 3 times 3 once, write 3 times 3 twice, write 3 times 3 a third time. Because what's inside the parentheses is 3 squared, which is 3 times 3. And what's outside is another exponent of 3, which means write what's inside 3 times. So now on your paper you have 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Well, if you notice, all of those are the number 3. And you know if that's the base, they all have invisible exponents that are the number 1. If you count how many 3's you're multiplying, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, you will find out you have 6 3's you're multiplying. And a better way to write that is 3 to the 6th. So we know 3 squared cubed really means 3 to the 6th. Now if I want to take out that middle step of doing all that writing, how can I look at 3 squared cubed and in my head get 3 to the 6th? Well, think about this, guys. There's 2 exponents, a 2 and a 3. You got your 2 superscripts. And between them, there's a parenthesis. What does parenthesis mean to do in algebra? That's right. It means to multiply. So when you have an exponent side by side next to another exponent and there's a parenthesis between them, it means to multiply them. And if you take those exponents 2 and 3 and multiply them, what would your new exponent be? That's right, it would be a 6. And that's what the power rule is. The power rule in algebra says, when you have 2 exponents side by side, a power raised to a power, and you know there's a parenthesis between those 2 exponents, you multiply them together. The base doesn't change. The base was 3 and it stayed a 3. So that's important. So we're going to use that power rule, again, to help us simplify algebra expressions. And again, because we're dealing with exponents, we're doing multiplication. Okay, I'll see you in the video where we work some examples.